Oh, welcome to video 4. And we've got as far as the tin mines in Cornwall this time. And the gentleman who silenced this convict are the same class, the same ruling elite as the gentleman that silenced the men's oath in Cornwall. So Cornwall killed the language of ordinary people, silenced ordinary people, silenced workers like Patience Kershaw. But also literally in the case of Cornwall, it is a language, as you can see at the end of the poem. Let me go over here. I think this will work. I found it the other day. I don't want a pasty, I want the language. Here, this woman speaks Cornish, but no, it's dead. Anyway. Can you work out the word for Cornwall?
Elizabeth Ovi, ha Trigis of in Kerno.
Kerno, did you hear it?
Ha Kernoes of, mi goes and yes, Kernoic or is of. Tho mi the lathis diski and yes, Kernoic ha mi nepis draw the safe blows down the above. A thesa o man o tiski Kernoic in class or no.
So that's it. No one speaks it. So they kind of resurrected. I think they've got some recordings of the very last speakers in the late 1800s, stuff like that. So if you went and started to speak Latin, nobody's ever spoken Latin. No one really knows. And it was pronounced differently all over Europe. It's the same thing. It's a dead language, but people, it's very similar to Irish and Celtic. It's a Celtic language, but no one, it's dead. So they've silenced this man by his treatment down the mine, and they've also smashed that language of Cornish, the working class language there. Why would you not want people to speak Cornish, though, if you were a mine owner? Hang on a minute, I'll just pause it for... Okay, so Neve was saying that you don't want them speaking a language you can't understand in case they're planning to rebel in some way or strike or take over. These mines are very dangerous. People are dying every week in them. So they've silenced them in many ways, from trauma and killing the way they speak as well. So then we move on to the last two lines, which is the meaning of the poem. The dumb go down in history. If you can't speak, your history is lost. If you don't get it written down, your history's gone and disappeared. This is very important for Black History Month. So Black History Month is an attempt to resurrect the history of an important section of people. A lot of people, you only get the rich, in which in America would be the white version of events. Literally, if you were a slave in America and you were found to be able to read and write, you would be killed. Literally, it was illegal. You did not want slaves reading and writing in case they got in touch with each other and tried to abolish slavery. No slave could communicate with another slave that wasn't right in front of them. And that's a real method of control. We've got it with Hassan in The Kite Runner. You control people if they can't read and write very much more easily than if they can organize themselves from afar. So in terms of this, go down in history, it just disappear. We don't get their histories. There's very few slave narratives, like slaves writing what it's like to be a slave. Couldn't write. And if you ever do read one, they are mind-boggling and amazing. There's a few. Around, people might have seen 12 Years a Slave. So, right, yeah. So you lose your history. Patience Kershaw, her history, really not written. And Tony Harrison is a poet that wants to go and write these histories and bring attention to these people. And you might say the title is ironic, National Trust. We're trusting you with history, but you're ignoring a lot of people's. You're only giving us a very few people's history here. They have got better at it, and they're in a massive argument with themselves. So some people in the National Trust think we should do more about ordinary people history, and some people think that's outrageous, and we're perfectly happy with the palaces of the way they are. Thank you very much. Did you know that? Oh, it's a big argument at the moment. So There's 9. Not one gentleman's been brought to book. Have we heard the phrase to bring someone to book? What is it, Isabella?
When you write about people inside of you.
Oh, that's the meaning here. In real life, it's got a different meaning. That's this meaning, not the real life one. Yeah, Safadina.
Not ignorant.
No. Yeah. Accountable, yeah. Normally in court, if you throw the book at someone, you charge them. If you bring them to book, you bring them to court or make them accountable in some way. Sorry, not one gentleman, not one of the ruling elite, not any of those mine owners or factory owners have ever had to be accountable for what they did to people. So your history is obliterated, and we go and pay money to look round the houses of people that did it to you. I'm going to go to one of those houses and refuse to pay. As the descendant of the people that built the house, served in it, did all the work to make the money to make the house, why am I going to pay to look round it? I just think they won't let me in, don't you? So Tony Harrison is always having a bit of a laugh. They have been brought to book now because look, it's in a book. You're writing, like you're reading it. They said you get it. It's in a book. That's Tony, isn't it? He's having a little play on words there. I will bring them to book, literally playing on that. I will write about them so that people understand what's happened. Mes den het tavasagolosidia. I like saying, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I just do it. But I've got used to it. So I try and do it in a Cornish accent. So here's my Cornish accent. I'll just get up and running. Mes den het tavasagolosidia. Oh, that sounded like convincing. No idea. So he's forcing you into Cornish in the same way as you were forced into them and us, saying us in a northern way. You're forced into a bit of Cornish here. The tongueless man gets his land took. You can't speak. Like his father in Marked with D, if you can't speak up for yourself, you have no power. And that speech can be smashed out of you by your education, by your job, by your feelings of self-worth, by your literal exhaustion. The tongueless man gets his land took. You'll have no power and no wealth. So, let me read through the poem again. Better drop the Cornish accent. Oh, I'm stuck in it now. Oh, I've got 2 minutes. I'll just lob it on to the end. I want to know, well, you tell the person next to you. People listening to the recording, just tell yourself. Right, come on, Georgina, stop that. Okay, I'm back. I just really like talking that way. Kate, who was taught by Kate last year, she was actually Cornish. Did you hear? She didn't have much of an accent, though.
She did it sometimes.
Did she do it for you? Yeah. She really liked this poem. Georgina, stop it. All right. I'm making concerted effort to speak RP. I'm from nowhere near Cornwall. I've got nothing to do with Cornwall. Right, I'm going to read it. You're going to say whether you feel at home with it now. National Trust. Bottomless pizzas won in Castleton and stout upholders of our law and order one day thought its depth worth wagering on and borrowed a convict, hush, hush, from the warder and winched him down and back. Flayed, grey, mad, dumb. Not even a good flogging made him holler. Oh, gentlemen, a better way to plumb the depths of Britain is dangling a scholar. Say here at the booming shaft at Tow and Roweth, now National Trust, a place where they got tin, those gentlemen who silenced the men's oath and killed the language that they swore it in. The dumb go down in history and disappear. And not one gentleman's been brought to book. Mes den het tavasagola sidia. The tongueless man gets his land took.